So I welcome to all the participants on the behalf of Gujarat Technological University. I welcome to all the participants who has joined this workshops, and I am just briefing out about my university. So basically, all the participants are from Gujarat Technological University. So GTU is almost established in 2007, and this webinar is particularly conducted under the GTU Innovation Council, and this is the 135th webinar under the GTU Innovation Council during the lockdown periods. And this seminar is conducted under the Design Innovation Center, which is a part of the GTU Innovation Council, and DIC is funded by the MHRD. So I'm just briefing out about our today's speaker. So the Professor KG Bua is an associate professor in Electronics and Communication Department, GES Class 1 at Technical Education Department, Government of Gujarat, and he has completed his bachelor degree in Electronics and Communication from SSEC Bhavnagar in 1992, and he has completed his Master Engineering in Electronics and Communication from LD College of Engineering, Ahmedabad in 2005, and he has a 14-year teaching experience as at SSEC Bhavnagar, 8 years experience at GEC Bharuch, and 5 year experience at Dr. S&S Gandhi Government Engineering College. So he has a total 27 year of experience, and his hobby is to writing some Gujarati articles, and he is also eminent speaker at Government of Gujarat, and his interested subject is satellite communications, IPDC, integrated personality development, radar and navigations, audio and video system, wireless and mobile communication. So I welcome to KG Bua sir. I hand over mic to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, can I present my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I request to all the participants, we will share the feedback link after the webinars. And if you have any questions, then write your question in the chat box. So we will consider it after the webinar. Thank you.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raj sir, for giving my introduction. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants for joining this webinar on the recent modern navigation systems. These are the special applications of satellite communication, and I'm very much thankful to GTU for giving me this opportunity to represent webinar in front of such intelligent audience, maybe faculty or students from Electronics and Communication Department or other related branches. And I'm also thankful to ISRO for getting such useful information from available resources, maybe website from the ISRO or other available resources on a different website. And one thing I always say when I deliver a classroom lecture on such a useful on a different platform, when I give the expert talk, that India has a more number of youths as compared to other countries. So our youth is not useless, but used less. This is the fact. They are not used in better way. So now it is the job of mother and teacher to build not only knowledge, but also the character of the youth. This is very important. Knowledge is not only important in a life, but character building of the youth is very much important for our country. So this is our teacher and mother can do this thing. And I want to say that always think positive. And one more thing I want to say, always say that I am not teaching. I don't teach, but I explain only. Okay. And lastly, I want to say that ethics, attitudes, and values cannot be taught, but they are the inherent characteristic, and you can develop in yourself ethical values. So let us start the objective of today's webinar. The topic is related to application of satellites. Okay, so first of all, the questions should arise in mind. The most of the student or faculty know what is satellite, but in a speed, I want to say a brief review of satellite. Okay, so what is satellite? There are two types of satellite: natural and artificial satellites. We will see overview of different types of application for artificial satellites, and then specific application for satellite is in navigation. And there are two types of navigation. Broadly, we can say that global navigation system, satellite system, that is GNSS, and augmented satellite-based navigation systems. So I think all of you know what is satellite, but again, I want to say that there are two types of satellites. So maybe we can say that natural satellite, we itself say that moon or any planet that orbit around the planet or star is known as the satellite. That are the examples of natural satellite. Here you can see that Earth is moving around the sun. So this is also one natural satellite, and moon is moving around the Earth. So here we can say that Earth and moon both are example of natural satellite. Here you can see the detail of about the rotational period or rotation and orbit, particular orbit. Now, artificial satellite. It may be any artificial body placed in a orbit around the Earth or around the Moon or any other planet. Any artificial body can rotate or we are put in an orbit that rotate around any larger body. So we can say that the body is an artificial satellite. The purpose may be to collect the information or for communication. We know that we have different types of satellite, means artificial satellites. Some satellites are used for collecting information only, as per example, the weather broadcasting and information satellites, and some satellites are used particularly for communication purpose. So here, artificial satellite is a body placed in orbit around the Earth or Moon or any other planet in order to collect the information for communication. This is one photograph of the satellite rotating around the Earth in particular orbit. Here you can see here is one satellite, this is another satellite, this is another satellite. So different satellites are orbiting around the Earth in different orbits. This is one more example of artificial satellite, one more image. Here you can see that complete structure of the satellite. Here you can see that solar panels are there. These are the solar panels for generating power. And this is the antenna, and this is the complete rotating body around the Earth. This is a very good image of satellite. So now I think all of you clear about what is the natural satellite and what is artificial satellite. Now we can, as I discussed in previous slide also, we can classify or different types of artificial satellites. As far as the application point of view, we can say the communication satellite that are used for communication purpose, remote sensing satellites that are for the weather broadcasting and sense the remote place or particular location. And third one is the navigation satellite that we will see in detail different types of satellite used for navigation purpose in today's webinar. And as far as the orbital location point of view, we can say how much distance, how much far the satellites are rotating from the Earth. We can say LEO, GEO, MEO, and SSO. GEO means geostationary or geosynchronous satellite that is launched in the that satellites are orbit in the geo orbit. Then LEO means low Earth orbit satellite, medium Earth orbit satellite, and sun synchronous orbit satellite. So here you can see that if we see the distance from the Earth, then LEO are the nearest to the Earth, means distance is not so far away, and MEO is far away from the Earth, and the most far distance, about 36,000 kilometers, is GEO. Okay, geostationary or geosynchronous. So depending upon our requirement for global coverage, we use the GEO. We launch the satellite in geostationary or geosynchronous orbit. There are certain other advantages also, because the rotational speed of the satellite in a geostationary orbit is same as the rotational speed of the Earth. So most of the time, except eclipse, we have no problem of sunlight for power generation, and most of the time it looks visible and stable, because there is no relative motion between Earth and satellite in geostationary. So, and only 3 to 4 satellites are enough to cover whole globe or all the surface of the Earth. But that is for global communication or coverage. Then LEO is for the smaller distance and smaller coverage area, and MEO in between these two. So we are not going to in detail of this LEO, MEO, SSO, GEO directly going to the applications of artificial satellites. Broadly, there are so many applications. Broadly, we can divide into these 4 categories. Fixed satellite services, you can say FSS. Broadcasting satellite services, you can say BSS. Mobile satellite services and navigational satellite services. Here, we will discuss this one, fourth one, navigational satellite services in detail. But here you can see this is the broadcast satellite services. Here, in a fixed satellite services means landline phone. I'm not talking about the satellite phone. See here the difference. If you notice that there was a relay center for TV and radio broadcast. Okay, before 10 years, if you see, we were not able to receive the direct signal from the satellite at DTH home. So DBS service is different. That in general we say that DTH service, direct to home service, that comes in this category. Broadcasting service of satellite, that is direct to user. But in fixed satellite service also we use satellites for suppose for example Doordarshan relay center is there, so their signal, they receive the signal from the satellite. Or if you say the example of cable broadcasting service, they receive the satellite signal from the satellite and then rebroadcast. So all the relay centers are known as come in the category of fixed satellite services, maybe for telephone purpose. Okay. And broadcasting satellite service is different. That is direct to home or DBS service, direct broadcast satellite services. And mobile satellite services, again there is a confusion. Whatever the cell phone we are using, that is not the direct application of you cannot say mobile satellite service. There you can see the different mobile transmitting towers are there in the different cities and at different locations. So that is not directly connected to satellite. But I am talking here the mobile satellite services for a remote area, for in an aeroplane, in a steamer, or for military purpose. Special mobile handsets directly connected through satellite. So in the case of emergency, if there is a failure on all the existing territorial networks, so we can contact or we can communicate through these mobile satellite services. So I think all of you understand the basic difference between normal mobile services we are using and this is satellite mobile services. Okay. Now here you can see all the different images. Here you can see the different images. This is the mobile TV we set, very small aperture terminal. So in an aeroplane we can use. These are the satellites we set service. This is for cable and direct TV. So cable TV service provider also receive through the satellite and then transmit through their cable network. And D2H direct to home is also available. Mobile and TV. Okay. So these are the in ocean also, in steamer also we use different hubs are there, and this is the example of GPS. These are the fixed satellite services. Here you can see the landline phones are there. Okay, and this is TV. In which we can receive the signal through antenna, means from a relay center, and relay center is directly connected to the satellite. So these are the fixed satellite services, and these are the DBS services, means direct broadcast satellite service, that is D2H. And in a bus we have also application of satellite in navigation purpose or mobile and TV viewing purpose. So these are the main field of satellite communication or applications. But in detail today we will see the navigation satellites in detail. Here is the broad view and different more examples of artificial application of artificial satellites. So now we are going to our main topic, that is the navigation. There are two older navigation techniques are also there. Before satellite were not used, but today we are not discussing or that all techniques for navigation. Even some techniques are also used for smaller range, directly going to the modern navigation techniques. So first of all, the question should arise in our mind, what do we mean by navigation? Okay, so it is the art of directing the movement of a craft or any object. Object may be, here you can see train, any steamer, bus, any vehicle, aeroplane. So we want to track any path, okay, direct any movement of any object. So that method is known as the navigation, the art of directing the movement of craft or object from one point to another along the desired path. If you say that all of you are using GPS, today I want to say something related to GPS, because most of you know GPS is not our navigation system. Okay, GPS is a global navigation system developed by USA, but most of we are using GPS, and I don't know how many of you know our navigation system. So today I will discuss our navigation system, so far is not globally available for Indian territories. Our navigation systems are fully working, and even though compared to GPS, we will get the more accurate position. So most of we are using GPS. So when I suppose I want to go from one city to another, suppose from Surat to Ahmedabad. So when we set the GPS, it will show the different path, so different desired path. Once you select the defined path, so it automatically direct you. All of you notice that turn left, turn right, how much kilometer you have to drive or travel in a straight line like this. So it will give us or direct us the particular path or desired path. So this is the meaning of navigation. So one basic principle to explain the navigation, it requires minimum 4 satellites. So in some cases, we saw the images here. In this case, we have 3 satellites, and here 4 satellites. So minimum requirement is 3, but for synchronization and receiving timing signal perfectly in 3D to identify the 3D location, minimum 4 satellites are required. So here, this car will receive the signal from these 4 satellites, and here this device or object aeroplane receive the signal from these 3 satellites. So minimum 4 satellites are required for decide the location of any object and determine the path. So at last I will ask, after studying this all the fundamental of navigation, I will ask some basic question. All of you have to give the answer that related to navigation. Okay. So first, as I saw previously, that broadly we can divide the modern navigation system into 2 categories: GNSS and augmented services. GNSS means Global Navigation Satellite Services. These services are available globally. Okay, so wide area. It covers a wide area. All of you know about the first, that is GPS, developed by the USA. So GPS is one global navigation system. Another is GLONASS, Global, GLO for Global, NA for Navigation Satellite Service. And that is developed by USSR. Now we call it Russia. So GLONASS is also a global navigation system of Russia. Then Galileo. Galileo is European Union and ESA, developed by the ESA. Then Compass, and nowadays it is known, name is given that Baidu 2, that is the Chinese navigation system. These 4 navigation systems are available globally: GPS, GLONASS, Baidu, and Galileo. So here I have shown the image how we used to find out the particular path, suppose from one place to another place. So it will show our paths. Maybe different paths are shown, and it will show the fastest route also, and we have to select the desired path, and that the navigation system automatically guide us to follow the path. So this is the broad classification of different examples of global navigation systems. Then this is the summary or a comparison of global navigation systems. If time remains, Raj sir, how much time we have to I have to deliver the lecture? Any limitation is there?
No, sir. Actually, no, sir. There is no limitations, but
Okay.
we have kept the limit up to 12:30, so you can complete by
Okay.
12:30. That is enough time.
Okay. So because I have also prepared a presentation for global navigation systems. If time remains, then we see GPS in detail. Otherwise, first I will discuss the overview of and comparison of this global navigation system.
Sure. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So here, if you see the comparison of global navigation systems, GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, and Compass, here are as students and faculty of electronics and communication, all of you know what are the basic requirement of in communication. Frequencies there and modulation or coding techniques are used. And here, as far as satellite orbiting elements or some terms are concerned, then orbital period and how many number of satellites are used. So I compared 3 to 4 points for different global navigation systems. Okay. So here, GPS currently actually at the start when the program start and comes in operation, total minimum requirement was 24 satellites. But nowadays you can see from different learning materials available, around 31 satellites are there. So for a better resolution, and some satellites are not working, so minimum required is 24. If we see in the detail, then how much satellites are, how many satellites are placed in different orbits to cover the whole globe. So we will see in detail, but total 24 satellites are enough to cover whole globe and for better resolution. And 3 satellites are keep spare. If is there any problem in particular satellite, then we can use. So there is a continuous result and better resolution. And in the case of GLONASS also 24 plus 3 satellites. In Galileo 30 satellites, and Compass total 35 satellites are there. And if we see about the orbital period, most of the cases we have around 11 to 12 hours. Okay. So orbital requested to mute someone mic is on, so others are disturbed. Hello, Raj sir, you check and mute if someone is mic is on. Okay, now clear. Okay, mostly if you compare that for GPS 11 or 58 minutes, approximately 12 hours. For GLONASS 11 hours 16 minutes. For Galileo 14 hours 5 minutes, and for Compass 12 hours and 35 minutes. This is the orbital period, means time required to complete one rotation in a particular orbit. Okay. Then frequency range we use, as you know that we use the different frequency uplink and downlink frequencies. So here different frequencies are used starting in a megahertz range. So this is the comparison of frequency range, and different coding techniques used. For GPS CDMA is used, here GLONASS FDMA or CDMA is used, and most of the case CDMA is used if you see that. And I think as student of wireless and communication, mobile and wireless communication, also all of you know, you can compare the different this coding techniques, CDMA and FDMA, TDMA, all the things. Okay. So in most of the global navigation systems, CDMA coding techniques are used. And what are the actual status now? Okay, this is fully operational. Okay, fully operational means all satellites are in operation. This is also fully in operation. Here 18 operational for Galileo, and here 19 are operational. Maybe this also the older data, because day by day there is a progress in this navigation systems. So you cannot say exactly that. Maybe now you say check the GPS. There are around 31 satellites are there. Okay, so this is the overall comparison, brief comparison of different global navigation system. And if we have enough time, then we will see at least one GPS in detail. Okay, then overview of GLONASS, Galileo, and Compass. But my aim today is to cover our navigation system that are developed by our organization, ISRO, Indian Space Organization. And these are the augmented satellite-based navigation system. These are the different examples, and for different countries. So we will discuss INSS in detail. Indian Satellite Navigation System. Gagan is the one project. IRNSS is the another project, and NAVIC is nothing but the advanced version of IRNSS. Now, IRNS project is given the another name, that is NAVIC. Okay, so WASS, that is Wide Area Augmentation System. These all are not globally. That all augmented satellite-based navigation systems are for particular region that are not used to cover whole region of the Earth. Okay, so Wide Area Augmentation System, MSA, Multifunctional Satellite Augmentation System, IGNOS, European Geostationary Navigation Overlay Services, NDGPS, National Level Differential GPS. So this is one part of GPS, means National Level Differential Global Positioning System. All these augmented satellite subsystems, satellite-based navigation system, anyway use GPS or any other global navigation system. So not totally independent. In some cases, they nowadays become independent, but they are not covered. They are not capable to cover global area. So that is why global navigation systems I have compared separately, and these are the augmented satellite-based navigation systems. So today we will see this is the all types of satellite augmented satellite-based navigation system. But I am interested in today's webinar to explain in detail that is for INSS and Indian Satellite Navigation System, Gagan, IRNSS, and NAVIC. So if you see, so I also given the reference in my PPT. So those are interested to study in detail can refer Wikipedia and ISRO website. Mainly two websites are I used from ISRO website and Wikipedia. So full form of Gagan is GPS aided geo augmented system. So from the name itself, we can say that it is not totally independent program of India. Okay. So and somehow we have to we are dependent upon the GPS. And if you know the history of our navigation system, so at the time of Kargil war, we have not developed our navigation system, and we were totally dependent upon the GPS. But at the time of Kargil war, USA is not given us some data related to location in the place of the war. And after that, our government and our country think that why should not we have our own navigation system? And then in full pledge, we have started our navigation program. And nowadays, it is compared to GPS, it is working better. I am talking about the particular region only. Okay. So if you compare as far as the particular region is concerned, then our navigation systems have better resolution compared to the GPS. So Gagan provides the satellite-based navigation service with accuracy and integrity, and these are used for civilian and aviation application over Indian Air Force. So basically, it was developed for military purpose and Indian Air Force, but now it is also available for civilian applications. Then another system that is totally independent. Gagan was GPS based. Some satellites were used or launched by ISRO, means our country, and some satellites were used from GPS. But IRNSS, that is totally independent program, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. As from the name said, suggests that it is available only for Indian region and surrounding area for Indian territory and around Indian territory, some so around 1,500 kilometer distance. That IRNS navigation system is available. So it gives reliable position, navigation and timing services over India. See here, that is for particular developed for India. And its immediate neighborhood. Some neighbor countries are also covered in this navigation system to provide fairly good accuracy to the users. The constellation is seen by user all the time. This is another advantage we will see in detail. All the satellites are particularly launched for our region only. So it will be visible to all the times for in our region. Okay, so because GPS is for the whole the globe. So maybe some satellites are not visible during night for our time. Okay, so here satellites are visible for all the times in our constellation. Integrity and atmospheric correction message to user, and then Navik. Navik is nothing but revised edition of IRNSS. You can the project is renamed like Navik means navigation with Indian constellation. So available for Indian constellation only. Okay, Navik NAV means navigation, and IC for Indian constellation. And this project is not fully operational completed. Okay, we will see in detail about the planning of Gagan. Gagan is fully completed project, but Navik is in progress. First, we will see about the Gagan. So, in between, before starting to Gagan, I want to get some feedback from the participant that I am going to a proper speed or going to more speed. Either I require to slow the speed or not. So,
You are going great, sir. No issues, sir. Speed is okay and
okay.
everything is fine. Go ahead, sir.
Why about voice quality and all the things, all the files? Okay.
Yes, sir. Everything
Okay.
is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So now we must all
Yes,
have the
sir.
proud. We must all be proud that our country has developed our own navigation system after the experience of Kargil war. Okay, and our scientists are doing excellent job. We must all salute them. And all of you also know that the great work done by our scientists, even though the Chandrayaan 2 project was not successfully, but that was the very big project by ISRO. Okay, so we must salute all scientists working in this, because the safety point of view also, this our own navigation system was very important. Okay, so let us start about the Gagan. So this is the combined project by both country, India and US, integrated project because we use some satellite for GPS also, of GPS also, and to improve air traffic control and other civil navigation. These are the application, local application, domestic application, air traffic control and other civilian navigation application. And total investment is joint venture of ISRO and Airport Authority of India, AAIR, because this local navigation system, regional navigation system, main application is air traffic control. Okay, air traffic control. So that is by Airport Authority of India is also combinedly joint adventure of ISRO and Airport Authority of India, and total project was 760 crore. And 8 reference stations and master control and uplink facilities are developed at the different place. We will see exact location also in Indian map, where the exact locations are there for different reference station and master control and uplink facilities. As the uplink and downlink are the common word, all of you know, uplink is the frequency when we transmit from the Earth station toward the satellite, and downlink is the signal transmitting from the satellite to the Earth. So here on the ground, we have down station, we have also developed uplink facility, control station, and 8 reference stations and master control stations. Okay, the first satellite was launched in 2001, and now all project complete and operational in 2011. So this Gagan project is fully operational. Okay. So accuracy you see here in accuracy, 1.5 meter in horizontal and 2.5 meter in the vertical. So in GPS we have 5 to 10 meter accuracy. So as far at the comparison point of view, Gagan is far better. And you can see Wikipedia for this link is shared in my PPT. You can take the screenshot also. So for augmented navigation system, and basically, when organization plan, there was in a 2 phase. First was the TDS, technical demo system. TDS, technical demo system, means not actually launch and in operation, and then final operation phase. So it, total operation was divided into 2 phase, technical demo system and final operation phase. Here we use the primary service of GPS. And any navigation system, most of the, maybe some case, maybe more facility, but any type of navigation system, for understanding the working, we can divide into three main segments, that are the space segment, ground segment, and user segment. Okay. Uh, Two operational navigation payloads are already in place on board GSAT 8 and GSAT 10. Okay. Payload, I think all of you know or not, I don't know, but payload is nothing but the transponder and antenna system that is inside the satellite is known as the payload. So two payloads are already there in two satellites, GSAT 8 and GSAT 15, and one in orbit spare, that is GSAT 15. So one is spare, as per the requirement we can use. So in spare, in short, we can see the different elements of space segment. Basically, in space, we have satellites, payload in a space. And in payload include transponder and antenna subsystem, and remaining part is power supply section. Power supply section, that in first or second PPT we have seen solar panels. Okay. So inside the satellite body or spacecraft, we have payload. And basically, in payload, we have antenna subsystem and transponder. Transponder is nothing but transmitter and receiver both, because it has to receive the signal from the earth segment or ground segment, and it has to transmit the signal toward the earth segment. So transmitter is and receiver both are combined, name is given the transponder. And as you know, any type of communication we require transmitting and receiving antenna. So this combined unit include the transponder and antenna subsystem is known as payload. And another part of the satellite in a space is a power supply section, and basically there will be maybe some storage batteries, because at the time of eclipse there is no sunlight. So for continuous working and remain contact with the satellite, some battery backup is also necessary. So some batteries are there, long life batteries are selected, and mainly solar panels are there. Okay. And then ground segment, short names are given. Here I will explain the full form, because in the block diagram I will show only short form. INMCCC, the Indian Master Control Center. INLAUS, that is Indian Navigation Land Uplink Station. From this station we can uplink the data. Okay. And Master Control Center is the monitoring and controlling all different activity of the satellite. And INRES, these are the Indian reference stations. So these are the different unit at the different location on the Indian territories. We will see exact location also. Then the user segment, the users receivers are, as you know, maybe in a car, bus, aeroplane, or steamer, means actual users, with users, the segment with the users, maybe at different places. Okay. In the case of car, bus, aeroplane, or steamer, these are the main applications. So these are the different segments. Now in block diagram we can see this is the space segment. We see that satellites are there. Now how many satellites? So 3 satellites are launched in geostationary orbit. That is why this is known as geostationary geosatellites. So when we classify the satellites, there are different way to classify the satellite. As far as the orbit in which the satellites are launched, we can say GEO, LEO, MEO, SSO. Okay, and as per the application point of view, we can say the communication satellite and sensing satellite and navigation satellite. Okay, so that already we have discussed. So here, anybody can know the difference between, if you have heard the word geostationary and geosynchronous satellite. Anybody know what is the difference between these two, geostationary and geosynchronous?
Sir, what I mean is that geosynchronous means the orbital period of the particular satellite is same as the rotational period of the Earth. The orbit
Yes.
is not to be at a 0-degree inclination, but the
Yes.
for geostationary, the predefined requisite is that the orbit should be exactly above the equatorial plane. So the satellite seems to be stationary for always. That is for
Yes.
geostationary.
Yes, yes, yes. I want some more thing. All the characteristics characteristics are same for both as far as the distance from the earth is concerned, rotational period is concerned. Only the difference is that the angle between two planes, that is equatorial plane and orbital plane, is zero in the case of geostationary, and there may be some angle between orbital plane and orbital plane and equatorial plane. Some angle is there, means inclination is there in the case of geosynchronous satellites. So we are not using geosynchronous for GPS. We are using geostationary, because what is the advantage? Because the relative motion between two is zero. So at every instant of time, it looks stationary. So there is synchronization of different antennas from the earth station and satellites are not required. So this is the basic difference, and most of the students note this because this is very important question from if you are undergraduate student, then Viva point of view, and in interview also these questions are asked many times because most of the students are not knowing that what is the difference between geostationary and geosynchronous. Okay, very good. And so in the space we have three satellites. Two are used. Okay, two operational navigation payload and one in orbit spare navigation payload. Okay, one in a spare. In a ground segment, we already explained in the last PPT, but here location is shown. INRES there, INMCC is there, INLU is there. So INRES means reference stations are more than one. I have shown only two here, and one control station is shown. And this is the user. So user not getting, this is the navigation satellite. Okay, navigation payload launched by India, launched by ISRO, and also received the signal from GPS satellite. So this is not only using only our two satellites, but also use the GPS satellites. So this is, I think, more clear to understand the space segment and ground segment. There is nothing more in Earth segment, but Gagan space segment uses a satellite-based augmented system and PRN code, pseudo-random noise code 127 and 128 to transmit correction and integrity parameters to satellite-based augmented system receiver and signal received by Gagan receiver. These type of signals are received 1 megahertz BPSK and 10 megahertz BPSK. So L1 and L2 band, these frequencies are selected. We are not going to detail specification of, because I have to cover all the types of navigation system in short. These are the payload characteristic in detail. L1 band, because you know that different parameters or characteristic of satellite link. So transmitted EIRP, equivalent isotropic radiated power for this band is 30.2 dB watt, for this 29.2 dB watt. These are the also gain to transmit ratio, bandwidth, footprint means coverage area. Okay, coverage area, and feeder link frequency, C bands are used. Transmission polarization, right and circular polarization are used in both the case. Type of antenna is used, helix antenna. Antenna gain is 15.8 dB, and RF power rating is 40 watt, and total payload weight is 50 kg, and power requirement is 240 watts. These are the detailed specification for Gagan payload, or the detailed characteristics. And this is the actual configuration. Here you can see that in more detail. Okay, these are the INMCC Center 1, INMCC Center 2, INMCC Center 3. Okay, INLUS Center 2, INLUS Center 1. Okay, this is for uplink. This is for uplink. Okay, all are the for uplink. These are the reference stations. Reference station. These are the total more reference center, but I have shown all the two examples. Okay, and this is the Gagan user. Here you can see that some satellite 1, 2, 3, GEO1, GEO1, and GEO2. Okay, and these are the satellites from GPS satellites. Okay, and these are our GEO satellites. So here you can see how the Gagan user can identify his own location by receiving the signal from the different satellites. here you can see the exact location of different ground segment. Okay, total 8 ion RES and 2 ion RES. So different locations are shown all over the India, and one VSAT link, one ring of optical fiber cable, one IL, because different reference stations are connected in a ring by optical fiber connections. Okay, and space segment name is given INMAR set for F1, and Google signal in space verified and validated through flight trial from Hyderabad to Bangalore. So testing was done from Hyderabad to Bangalore. And onboard Gaggan receiver position compared with DGPS position to demonstrate satellite augmentation. DGPS means differential global positioning system. And this is the current status. 2 satellites are used and successfully completed the project. Here I also on this. These satellites are GSAT-15 is spared. So any user are not receiving the signal from this. Here you can see that is kept spare. Only 2 satellites are actively used, and other satellites from GPS are used. These are also reference station, uplink station, and this another simple block diagram to understand the current status of Gaggan. Now I think all of you are clear about the Gaggan project. Now let us start our another project. So after 1 hour, I will take review of you, because after 1 hour and 15 minutes, most probably I will complete my total our navigation system, IRNSS and Gaggan. Then we will discuss GPS, and if time remains, then remaining. Okay. So this is the ISRO's initiative to provide independent satellite navigation system. As I already discussed that this is totally independent navigation project developed by ISRO, and provide 2 kinds of services: standard positioning services for civilians, okay, for civilians, and restricted services for strategic users, particularly for military and our safety point of view, for our country security point of view. These are the restricted service, and standard positioning service are also provided by RNSS for civilian uses. And here also, in the previous case, we have used L1 and L5 band. Here we have used L5 and S band to provide required coverage in right-hand circular polarization. Polarization is also used same as the Gaggan, right-hand circular polarization. The IRNSS system mainly consists of space segment, ground segment, and user, as usually for this Gaggan, and also any type of navigation system. Basically, we can divide the 3 segments. The space segment consists of 7 satellites. So how many satellites in a space segment for Gaggan? Anybody? Here space segment consists of 7 satellites. And for Gaggan, how many satellites are launched by India in Gaggan? Anyone?
3.
3, yes, correct. 2 are continuously used and 1 for spare. Okay, so here 7 satellites are already launched and fully successfully working. Okay, and next 4 are in planning. Within 2 years, ISRO is planning to launch more 4 satellites, and then maybe near to GPS. Not even we can cover the whole globe, but near to GPS, because after launching 4 more satellites, we will be able to coverage more area on the Earth. Okay. So this is the exact location of 3 satellites are in geo at location 32.5 degree east, 83 degree east, and 131.5 degree east. All are the longitude. Okay. 3 satellites position, and height is approximately 36,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. So this is the exact location as far as the longitude and latitude positions are concerned. Height and longitude are concerned. Okay, and remaining 4 satellites are in inclined GSO. That is why I have explained first what is the difference between geostationary and geosynchronous orbit. So 3 are inclined, means they are put in geosynchronous orbit. Here GSO means geosynchronous orbit, and GEO means geostationary Earth orbit. So 4 of remaining are in inclined GSO. 2 of them, again out of 4, 2 of them crosses the equator at 55° east and 2 at 1.75 degree east. So now this is the exact position of the 7 satellites. All the satellites will be visible in service region. We are talking about our region territory only for 24 hours and will transmit navigation signals using both L5 and S bands. The spacecrafts are designed to have 7 to 10 years life. However, will be replaced suitably to have sustained mission operation. So why this project is continuous project? Because each satellite has the limited period of life. So here most of the spacecraft are designed to have lifespan of 7 to 10 years. And so continuously, so we are planning to launch 4 more satellites in next 2 years. Okay, so this mission to sustain the mission successfully, we have to continue the project. And coverage area is about 1,500 kilometers beyond the Indian territory. So we are out of Indian territory also. Coverage area is available, and estimated horizontal position accuracy is here. See, 20 meter in over India and nearby area. See here, in the previous case, so what was the accuracy in Gagan? Gagan की accuracy कितनी थी? How much accuracy was there in the case of Gagan for horizontal and vertical? Anybody? Anybody? Remember, we already discussed for Gagan, it was 3 to 5 meters.
1.5 meter.
Yes. Okay. Here for horizontal accuracy is 20 meter. See, in the case of GPS also we have 3 to 5 meter accuracy. So as far as our region is concerned, we can get excellent result compared to GPS. And even though we are not using our navigation system. Okay. So hope that now we all will start to use our navigation system. So this is again explanation for different segments. So first we will see the detail of ground segment. The ground segment is responsible for the maintenance and operation of the IRNSS constellation. So constellation means that the different region, different locations, different satellites are launched. That once they are put in the orbit, the complete constellation must be observed continuously and maintained and controlled. So this is the role of ground segment. Is responsible for maintenance and operation of the IRNSS constellation. It provides the monitoring of the constellation status. First role is to monitor. And if is there any correction, then correction to the orbital parameters and navigation data uploading. So once you select the, receive the signal, so it will again upload to the other reference station, the required receive the data. So we will upload the navigation data, make the correction, the orbital parameters. Orbital parameters may be the, maybe if inclination change due to the different effect of gravitational pull of the different planets. So if is there any inclination is there, if is there any change in attitude of the satellite, attitude means how it behaves after launching the satellite. So if there is some change in orbital parameters, it is also the role of the ground segments to monitor and if possible to control that. Okay, because some controlling techniques are, controlling mechanisms are also put with the satellite at the time of launching. Because after launching the satellite, we cannot go in the space for repairing and maintaining the satellite. So that is why some controlling mechanisms are also sent with the space segment, means with payload. So we can correct some orbital parameters. So this is also the role of ground segment. And another, the ground segment consists of master control center, means it has to control, providing the monitoring and constellation status, correction to the orbital parameters and navigation data uploading. This is the role of master control center, MCC, as we see in the block diagram. Other units of ground segments comprise TT, NC, and navigation. Telemetry, tracking, command, and navigation. Telemetry, tracking, command, and navigation. Data uplinking stations, spacecraft control center, IRNSS network timing center, IRNS range and integrity monitoring station, CDMA ranging station, laser ranging stations, navigation control center, and data communication link. As I discussed, some optical fiber links are connected between two reference stations. So these are the different stations at different places as a part of ground segments. So as we know that the user segment mainly consists of the user receiver in a car, bus, aeroplane, or a steamer, etc. Now here you can see that so this person is using in a mobile. Most of we are using also when we are even driving a car from one place to another. We put the GPS to identify the path and follow that path between two places. Here is the steamer, here the one vehicle is there, here aeroplane is there, this is the satellite, and these are the selected club. Means you can select GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, IRNS. Okay, which club you are using? Means we are member of which club as a user. Okay, so select your club. You can select global GPS. GLONASS is also available globally. Galileo is also available, and Chinese that is Baidu or Compass is also available. But as per my opinion, as an Indian, we must select, we must use, we select the club that is IRNSS or NAVIC, navigation for Indian constellation. Okay. So number of satellites are also used there. This is maybe the old data. Okay. So who will be the benefit from the IRNSS? There is given. And one question I would like to ask, maybe most of the faculty are knowing, so don't expect answer from any faculty, but I want answer from any student. This is also another important question that can be asked in a viva or an interview. That is, suppose this man in a car or vehicle is using GPS, not through mobile. Understand my question? इस vehicle में जो आदमी है और vehicle में you can say GPS is installed in vehicle. It may be bus or any vehicle. GPS system is or any navigation system is installed in a particular vehicle. Okay. So my question is, there are two questions related to this incident. One question is there in a car or in a bus only receiver is there, only transmitter is there, or both transmitter and receiver is there? अगर कार और बस में रिसीवर जीपीएस इंस्टॉल किया है तो उसमें रिसीवर होगा, ट्रांसमीटर होगा और दोनों होगा. बिकॉज इन कम्युनिकेशन वी हैव थ्री बेसिक एलिमेंट्स: ट्रांसमीटर, रिसीवर एंड लिंक बिटवीन टू. Okay, these three things we have to understand in any type of communication. If you see up to this semester, all of you have learned analog communication, digital communication, data communication, wireless and mobile communication, optical fiber communication, microwave communication, satellite communication. Okay, so in all types of communication, we have transmitter and receiver and link between two, maybe wireless link or wired link, maybe through transmission line or through optical cable in the case of wired link. So my question is, suppose in a vehicle a GPS system is installed. So in this case, in a vehicle, receiver is installed, transmitter is installed, or both transmitter and receiver are installed? Anybody from student side? I want.
Sir, both are installed.
Okay, who are you, from which institute? Please speak your name, and then, because I'm not able to see your screen because I have shared my screen.
My name is Ashish Ramani. I am Silver Oak University.
Okay, okay. So anybody else agree with Ramani? Both transmitter and receiver?
Yes,
Now
sir.
I say this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The answer
sir.
is wrong.
I would like
Answer
to
is-
add, sir.
Yes, yes.
Only receiver is there.
Sir, in cars we have only receivers because cars do not have the directional antennas to send information to satellite.
Okay. So correct answer is only receiver is there. So all my dear students, please remember and understand this thing. We will see how we can detect our position in detail when we see GPS in detail at that time, because our receiver continuously receive the signal through different 3 or 4 satellites, and after the getting the received data from the different satellite itself, it will decide our location, and we can say that where we are exactly. So the correct answer is only receiver is there. So that is why I have given. I am not giving the example of GPS used by mobile. Now another same question for the same example. So internet connection is compulsory to identify the location by using any navigation system. Internet
No.
चालू होना चाहिए?
No.
No, sir.
Or, all are agree?
Yes.
Okay. So correct answer is no, internet is not required. Why I am asking this question? Because when I'm asking the same question in some interview panel and in Viva question, most of the students say that yes, internet is required, because most of we are using GPS through our mobile, and we think that for connectivity of mobile we require internet connection. Okay, so this is not correct, because if you have noticed that even though you are using the navigation using a mobile, navigation using mobile, at that time sometime connection lost. Okay, internet connection lost, and you can try also, you make the internet off. Okay, then once navigation system collect the data of particular path, and it will guide you till the end, but condition that you should not change your route. एक बार आपने लोकेशन उसने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया है, बाद में थ्रू आउट योर रूट वो आपको गाइड करेगा. Okay, so you can make this experience also in actual. So लेकिन आपने अगर path change कर दिया तो after that I am talking about the example when you use the GPS using mobile. Okay, otherwise
Yes, sir.
GPS receiver don't require any internet connection. So now I think all concepts are clear, and you can compare our navigation system, IRNSS and Gagan. Gagan is not totally independent, and only 3 satellites are launched. Others are used from the GPS satellite. And for IRNS, we have launched 7 totally independent program of ISRO and Airport Authority of India, and total 7 satellites are used. Minimum requirement is 4 for detecting the location. This is the configuration. As we have seen how all satellites are, here you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 satellites, how they are launched. And these are the users of IRNSS, maybe in a car, plane, or a bus. These are the telemetry taking command and navigation uplink station. Another TTNCL on dynamic uplink stations, IRMSS, CDMA ranging stations, INC timing center. All are the, I also for reference given the full name of all the stations. So this is the actual configuration of IRNSS. In a space segment, how it locates satellites. Okay, all 7 satellites launched indigenously on the proven Indian PSLV. Again, another thing that we all must have proud. We have our own launching vehicle. Even other countries are also using. Okay, GSLV and PSLV. Okay, so here we have not launched the satellite for the far distance, so we have used PSLV. Okay, so all satellites launched by our launching vehicle, that is PSLV, satellite launching vehicle. And first satellite was launched on 1st July 2013, and last satellite was launched on 12th August 2018. Now it is fully operational. Okay, the 4 geo satellites will appear to be moving in the form of H shape. I will show image also. It rotates in H shape, not elliptical shape, not circular shape, Okay, it rotates in H shape. In next slide, I will show you. In phase 2, now the name given is Navik. Okay, IRNS-2. Navik, the space segment is proposed to be augmented with 4 more satellites. So to make total number 11 in the constellation, will better coverage and accuracy. So more coverage will be there and accuracy will also be improved. So Navik is nothing but IRNS phase 2. We can say that IRNS-2 is the given the name Navik. So now we see how actual 4 satellites rotates. Okay, this is the actual path. Here you can see that satellite rotates in a H shape. Okay, like this. Here 3 satellites. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and here 1, 2, 3, 4 satellites. This is the actual path of satellite. Okay, and it covers this much region. So even after around Indian territory up to 1,500 kilometers, neighboring distance is also covered by this satellite. So this is very another important thing to remember, because when satellite rotate around the shape of the orbit is also important. So here it is not circular, it is not elliptical, but it rotate in a H shape path. So now I think we have discussed in detail. Only technical specification of payload is not covered. All other things we have, and also launching method and launching vehicles are not covered. But most of the things, as a user point of view, you must know that for Gagan and IRNS, I think I have covered. I will try my best to cover all the contents, means and easily you can understand how satellite rotates and how we can identify our location. In detail, we will see by taking one example how only receiver can detect the location. Okay. And this is IRNS architecture. I have represented in the shape of block diagram point of view, and not image is taken. So another way of representing the architecture of IRNSS. So this is the total number of units in detail. So IR and CF facility consists of 2 INC, 2 IRNWT, 4 ICDR, 16 number, that monitoring station, 16, okay, and 1 IRDCN. This is for navigation control facility, and this is for satellite control facility. These are the 2 different things. Okay, this is all the control facility for navigation point of view, for determining and identifying the location of particular orbit, a particular object. And this is for controlling and monitoring only satellite after launching the satellite in orbit. So TT&C and land uplink stations, 9 at different locations, and satellite control stations, 2 at different locations. So after launching satellite to control and monitor only satellite in particular orbit, okay, these are the control facilities. So you must be able to know difference between navigation control facility and satellite control facilities as far as the architecture point of view. And these are the services and frequency bands uses: standard positioning services and restricted services for special users, for security point of view, for military. Okay, so bands and frequency are used. Here you can see that bands are same, L5 and S band, but frequency bands are used here: 11.176, 2492, and here 11.16 and 2492.08 megahertz. But here signal and coding techniques are used. The different, here BPSK is used, and here different technique is used. So to decrypt any data is very difficult for security point of view. So now these are the signals we use, and CDMA frequency ranges for navigation, IRNSS, L5 S band, SPS and RS for restricted service, and this is for restricted service, and this is for civilian service. And CDMA frequency use uplink 6712 megahertz, and this is for downlink. As you know that uplink frequency and downlink frequency are different. Another simple question I want to ask. So first student can ask, because most of the faculties know or aware of this. Another important question for Viva and interview point of view. In any type of satellite communication application, maybe communication or navigation application, always uplink frequency is chosen higher than downlink frequency. Why? Because we can choose any frequency. Once bands is allotted to us, we have purchased our bandwidth spectrum, so it is in our hand which frequency is used for which purpose. So why uplink frequency is chosen higher and downlink frequency is chosen lower? Anybody from student side first and then faculty? If you notice this, any
So
type of...
because of power factor, sir.
Hello?
Power factor might. So power factor.
First speak your name, either you are speaking as a faculty or student.
Sir, I am student of Shantilal Shah Engineering College, Abhishek Dubey.
Abhishek Dubey, UG or PG student?
Sir, UG, sir. Final year.
Yes. Sir, as you know, the nature of the frequency, generally higher frequency require more power and lower frequency require lesser power compared to higher frequency. So as we know that on the Earth station, we can generate power. Okay. But in the space segment, we have limited power source for power generation through the solar panels. So that is why uplink frequency is chosen higher compared to the downlink frequency. Very good, excellent. As far as student is concerned, and UG student, you have given the correct answer. So congratulations. Now I think
Thank
I
you,
have,
sir.
now I think I have covered all the things. Now only 15 minutes remains. The time limits up to 12:30 we have. So there are two options. Either I cover GPS in detail, or I can cover 3 or 4 global navigation system overview. The choice is yours. Okay. So Raj sir and any faculty, you can tell. I have both options. I also detail PPTs for detailed understanding of GPS and overview of other 3 navigation systems, Galileo, GLONASS, and Compass. So,
Sir, I think there should be question answer session. That will be a better option.
okay. Now only 15 minutes is there. Okay. So I've already compared all 4 navigation systems, global navigation systems. Okay. As far as the application point of view and number of satellites used. Okay. So we can have special session if next time GTU arrange. Then in that case we cover only GNSS, global navigation satellite system, because today I don't know time limit. That is why from my side I have prepared to cover all the contents. Okay, so I that is the good suggestion, because only 15 minutes are there. So better to we have question answer session rather than going to the GPS and other navigation system. So very good suggestion. Thank you, Nandlal. Okay, because only we have. So now I stop the sharing, and we can have question answer.
Yes, sir. I request all the participants, if you have some questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask. Meanwhile, someone comes, sir. I just want to put one. Most of the times we have found that the other global systems have, you can say, supporting hardware in our mobile phones. So by what time we can expect supporting hardware in our mobile phones for Indian systems? I mean, now we can hold it.
Now, currently, very good question. Very good question. Hardware supported, because we know that most of the handsets are the production of international company. Our local production is nowadays a few company, or very less, one or more, two. Most of the hardware production is from outer side, other countries, and they have to cover global markets. So that is why okay, one Abhishek Dubey, one also Nandlal, you see the question, or Raj sir, you see the question in a chat box. As far as one question, I see that share the PPTs. I always share. I have request. I will send to GTU, and because I have not email ID of all the participants, so that is nothing confidential in my presentation, and I always share whatever I know. Okay, I am also student and learning since last 27 years. So maybe not all the knowledge with me, but anytime any participant can ask me question also. If I don't know, I will try to find out the answer, and definitely share with you. And definitely I will share the all my presentation not covered topic also related to navigation, GPS and other navigation system. I will send all the, because the data is very large, so not most probably not possible to share in a WhatsApp. So around 25 MB data is there, so I will share to send to GTU, and Raj sir will share with you maybe in Google link or any other platform by mail also. Okay, so very good question and representation from student side, that you can get the learning material. So definitely I will share you the PPTs of all the content that are not covered in my this session. Okay, now the question from Nandlal was that we want to use our navigation system, but our hardware set not supports our navigation system. But most probably I will not check, but I will get some feedback from my student that I will get some answer from the student side. I will check definitely, and you can also check some latest handset. Latest handset support our navigation system, maybe multinational or our Indian. So you try to take, and now when our project will successfully complete after within 2 years, most probably near to global navigation system. So we will be easily we can use our navigation system. Okay. Now any other question?
Sir, there
Yes,
is
sir.
a
There are questions in chat window. Yeah, Raj sir, continue. Thank you, sir.
yeah, sir. Actually, there is a two questions from the participant side. One question is how's the technically possible the 8-step rotation?
If some faculties have this, that all shape is decided by the, for that when you are learning this subject, if your question is from the student side, must be because the faculties know how shape is decided due to the different effect of different parameters. So as you know that uh, some automatically they decide the shape. There are different factors. Important factors are the gravitational forces. As you know that as the rotation of the atom, electron rotates around the center of the around the proton. Due to the region is different in that case, but I'm giving the example. In that case, there is a positive charge and negative charge, so they are not combined with each other, because must be their attraction must be there. Okay, so repulsion is also there. So similarly here, centripetal and centrifugal forces are there in every body. When two bodies are, and for that you have to study the Newton's law and Kepler's law. So after studying detailed study of Newton's law and Kepler's law, you will be easily understand how the shape are decided. Okay.
Okay, sir, there is a one more question. Can we use the satellite data for our project purpose, such as a location?
Yes, very good, very good from the student point of view. Very good question, because my one PG student is doing his dissertation work related to this IRNSS Navik, and all students are not getting, but some for that you have to purchase the receiver from particular authority. So some research fellow has already purchased, and my student was doing his dissertation work under his guidance also as the external guide, and I am the internal guide. So definitely you can get the data, because very important, because this is the role of a student as a researcher. Okay, how to improve accuracy of our navigation system. Okay, so very good extra. Yes, definitely you will get the data, but for that you have to purchase the receiver, specific receiver from the specific authority. Okay.
Okay, sir, I want to add some few point in that. Okay, actually,
Okay.
GTU is a regional partner for the Smart India Hackathon, and from the ministry side, the ISRO is our nodal agency. So whatever the data is available, uh, provided to the students, they are already available in the ISRO website. And if any students want to get some this type of the data, so we can, as a GTU, we can help him, because GTU has already signed the MOU, and sir has already said you need some specific type of the receiver. So you can contact to the Vishwakarma Government Engineering College, Chankheda, as well as Bhagwan Mahavir College at Surat. They both have this type of the receiver, so you can contact them. You can also contact to the IIT Gandhinagar, as well as you can also contact to the DAICT. Or as a GTU, we can connect with you at a VGC college, because they are the government college. So we can connect to the VGC college if you need some if you want to use this type of the receiver.
Yes, my student is taking the help from the faculty of Bhagwan Mahavir College. So if you don't want to invest or purchase, because I don't know exact price or cost of that receiver. So some institute, as Raj sir has said, that some institute have already purchased. So if you don't want to purchase, then you can take, and GTU also help, because he has already MOU with ISRO. Because why this type of data is the confidential one for security point of view. That is why everybody cannot that directly. Okay, so you can take the help of GTU also in this way. One question is there that I expect, because we have not covered GPS. One question is there, only receiver is there, then how we can identify the location? Okay, so that portion I have covered in GPS section. Actually, what happens, receiver will receive continuously data from the satellite, and how much time is taken, because satellites are at the different position, longitude and latitude. Okay, and from the received data and how much time traveled by the data, they will find out the distance from that particular satellite, and calculate the location on the earth. So I cannot, if we need a 3 satellite signal to get perfect location, right? 3 satellites are enough, but for perfect synchronization, for particularly for timing signal, because how much time the signal has taken to receive, to travel from the satellite to our location. So for satellite is the between synchronization of the time, because sometimes what happens, the first signal from a particular satellite come late, and another satellite come first. Then there will be some, for perfect location identification, timing synchronization of the signal is necessary. So minimum 4 satellites are required. So, but you can identify the location for using 3 satellites also. Now, any other important question?
I would just like to add one thing, sir.
Yes.
Those who are confused with how the only receiver can determine the position, you can go through the, you can say, Doppler shift concept. All the navigation systems are based on Doppler shift in the frequency. That identifies your actual position by, you can say, mathematical calculation within your receiver. You just receive 2 or 3 or 4 frequencies from all the satellites, and then you do mathematical calculation within the receiver chip itself, and that's how it calculates the latitude and longitude of your particular position. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, any other question?
Sir, there is one more question. As you said about the car, there is only one, only the receiver. Then what about the aircraft?
In the case of aircraft, they are guided also. They have some, for security point of view, they are continuously transmitting also some signal. Okay, only the navigation, identify the location is not important, because airport authority also, they have to send the data to airport authority also, that my position is here. Okay, not only in car, what we have to know our position, while in the case of aeroplane, they have to send data to other also. So they also require transmitter also. Okay. Now any other question?
सर ये जो आपने जो रेस्ट्रिक्टेड सर्विस बताई थी जीपीएस और नाविक की जो है जो मिलिट्री यूज के लिए है,
Okay.
मैं सिविलियन यूज के लिए मेरे को पता है उनके मैसेज के अंदर क्या क्या है, लेकिन रेस्ट्रिक्टेड जो सर्विसेज हैं और मैंने सुना है कि सिर्फ वो मिलिट्री ही नहीं, वो जो माउंटेन क्लाइंबर्स होते हैं वो भी यूज करते हैं, और वो उनको जो रिजोल्यूशन मिलता है कुछ 2.22 सेंटीमीटर तक मिल जाता है उसमें से। तो उनके मैसेजेस के अंदर क्या होता है, और अगर ऐसी सर्विसेज अगर कुछ यूज करनी हो तो क्या प्रोसीजर है उसके पीछे का?
No, it becomes costly. Okay, become first step. You can have satellite phone also. You can purchase, but it becomes very costly, because even on all the location, these are the specific application of specific fixed application of satellite communication. It becomes costly. Otherwise, you can purchase your satellite. जैसे revolver purchase कर सकते हैं ना सब, है ना, license ले सकते हैं ना. So you can purchase from the authority. Okay, for specific use. ओके, जो रिमोट प्लेस के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं. सिक्योरिटी इज अनदर, दैट इज ऑल्सो स्पेसिफिक सर्विस, बट रिमोट एरिया, हिली एरिया है जहाँ पे मोबाइल टावर नहीं, जो सिग्नल नहीं रिसीव होता, तो वहां पे भी आप यूज स्पेसिफिक एप्लीकेशन के स्पेसिफिक रिसीवर एप्लीकेशन यूज कर सकते हो. इन दैट केस यू हैव ट्रांसमीटर ऑल्सो, टू वे कम्युनिकेशन. सो नेविगेशन इज डिफरेंट थिंग, and this is another application of satellite, that is, you can say, the communication. Okay, that is communication application, or application of satellite in communication. Anyway, in the case of two-way, you can say that communication, but navigation is not two-way. Understand? We navigate ourselves, and it guide us. So navigation is different thing. Okay, so I think you got my your answer. And anytime you can, Raj sir, please share my WhatsApp number also with all the participants, and they can tell me any answer. Even though I don't know, I will try to find out. Okay, because teaching is my hobby. If I say my history, at the time when I was in 12th standard, due to lack of guidance, I was the students of medical, I was the top 100 in Gujarat, but due to the lack of guidance, I compulsory choose this field. And when I enter in the college, and I know that what is electronics and communication field, but then I decide teaching is my hobby, and I remain without job for 3 years, but I remain in this field. So teaching and to guide and help us is my hobby. So without any hesitation, you can send me message, and if I don't know, it may take some time. As per my comfort, definitely I will try to answer your question, and also I will learn more and more from your question. Even I am also a student. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, sir. To all the participants, I have shared one evaluation link and feedback link in the chat box. So you can fill the form, and after the evaluation, you will get the certificate automatically. It will be sent to your email ID. So I thank to all the participants who has joined these workshops, and I also thankful to KG Bhuva sir to spare your valuable time and provide your valuable knowledge to us, to all the participant and faculty members. And I am also thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir Dr. Naveen Sheth sir and Registrar Sir Dr. K.N. Kher sir to provide an opportunity to organize this type of the webinar. And I am also thankful to our Director Sir Dr. Sanjay Chauhan sir. Their valuable guidance, we are organizing this type of the webinar under the Design Innovation Center at GTU. Thank you all the participants. Thank you everyone. So here we are closing. Thank you everyone.
Some, in a chat box, some demand is there related to how to contact me. So I already again speak that my WhatsApp number will be shared with your certificate or anywhere. So then you can send me message. Okay.
Definitely. Once I will get the information from all the participants in the feedback form, I will share
Yes,
the
yes.
PPT as the contact detail and email ID of the Bua sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all participants for hearing me silently, and was the very good question answer session, because it should be not, and thank you very much Nanlal to giving the right suggestion at the right time. Otherwise I could not get the doubt of the participants, and I hope that I will try to solve in a better way up to certain level, not satisfy 100%. But if you have any other question, you can share with me. I will try my best to share my knowledge, and also I can upgrade my knowledge from your questions. So hope and expect a question from your side also. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone.
It was a great session, sir. Thank you.
Sir, nice session. Thank you for this session attend.
Nice session, sir.